This is not an Ivan. This is not a Dennis. This is a major hurricane.
The eye of Hurricane Katrina swept across the state of Mississippi during the early morning hours of August 29, 2005. After countless hours of storm surges, tornadoes, and excessive winds, the wake of destruction left behind was unlike anything our nation had ever seen. Residents from the Mississippi Gulf Coast and as far as 350 miles inland were left in terrifying darkness and ruin.
This is terrible. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I hope I never do again. This is terrible. Just destroyed, just gone.
When the storm come through, the tornado took my house. Heard the tin blowing off my house. I knew I was losing my house then.
The wind actually was running through here about 120 miles per hour, what we got. There were several tornadoes. The house was moved from his foundation 1 inch on one side and a half an inch on the other end.
Đó, rồi tới chừng mà khi nước lên rồi á thì con tôi nó mới.
During the time of the hurricane, I had one of my relatives pull me out to the roof, and I stayed there for approximately 20 hours.
What I seen out that front window was truly unbelievable. We had people live across the street that stayed. The lady was pregnant. They ended up, a raft floated by to their window, and they were able to get out of the window and float away.
He looked like a ghost. I mean, he was so scared that he couldn't move the time I got here. And all he could do was say, "My God, y'all alive, y'all alive."
Almost everyone suffered some sort of damage, from broken windows to leaky roofs, and many residents were left with no more than the clothes on their backs.
We lost almost everything. Just salvaged a few pictures, a few mementos, but other than that, we did get through with our lives. Thank goodness for that.
Everything in the house was gone. Between the water coming in and rising up, and then the water coming through the ceiling down to the floor, I had mold spores the biggest #2 pencil eraser stuck to the ceiling all throughout the house. And then, of course, everything that came up, all the furniture, appliances, everything with the salt water was ruined.
I was here all my life, and I hate to see it go. And it's all gone. It ain't the same anymore.
The recovery process has been slow. Today, there are still families dealing with homes that need repair and living in cramped, unsafe FEMA trailers.
Everything moves slow, and everything get cramped up in that trailer, and you can't only put but clothes and food, and there's nowhere for me to move. Always been mobile, always tried to help myself, but it's taking a toll on me.
Without any assistance, people are still going to be living in FEMA trailers, which are very cramped, even for 3 or 4 people in them. They weren't meant to be lived in for a long period of time.
Rồi khi mà tự nhiên tôi mất trắng hết thì.
When I came back, I was devastated. I was not quite sure what to do. At a point, I thought I was going crazy. And I believe that without these organizations to help me out, I would never have gotten back here.
Relief and recovery agencies nationwide have worked wonders, but their rebuilding funds are running out. We need your help to finish the job.
Many families that were lucky enough to get money from their insurance company found that that was not enough to completely recover from Hurricane Katrina with all the damage that they had suffered from their home and their personal belongings. That has been a big obstacle for many residents throughout the state.
The organizations that participate and are still participating play a great role in a lot of people's recovery, because a lot of people didn't have flood insurance. A lot of people had insurance, and the insurances didn't come through like they should have. And at a time when everything was looking negative, those organizations were a positive thing that took immediate action. A lot of these organizations now are running out of funds. And people still have not recovered completely. There's a lot of people that are still in FEMA trailers because their homes aren't finished. They're waiting on insurance money. And without the help of these organizations, and even with the volunteers, they're slowly trickling in and slowly trickling out. And people have just not been able to recover and wouldn't be at the point of recovery that they are now if it wasn't for these volunteer organizations and the funding that they provided.
Like everybody else, the insurance didn't cover hardly anything. So it's been left up to a lot of volunteer organizations and volunteer workers to come in and try to help me rebuild the things that have to be rebuilt.
Without the help of this organization, it wouldn't ever happen. There wouldn't be no project. There wouldn't be no house.
We're not done recovering here on the coast. There are still thousands of people. The last estimates show about 14,000 people still reside in temporary housing, whether it be a FEMA trailer or a FEMA mobile home. Also, we've got well over a couple of hundred people that are still living in tents and have no way of securing permanent housing that is suitable, safe, and sanitary for that family.
Led by charitable organizations already providing relief, Finish the Job is a grassroots campaign to complete rebuilding efforts that are not covered by rebuilding agencies.
The other reason that Finish the Job came along is the fact that the funds that were initially donated by Americans as well as people from outside of the country have begun to dwindle down. Resources are getting low, the volunteers have stopped coming. So in an effort to continue our mission of getting people back into safe, sanitary, secure housing, we do need to raise a substantial amount of more money to continue the mission.
$300 million is needed to secure housing for thousands of families. If that number seems daunting, realize that it's the equivalent of $1 per American.
The idea behind Finish the Job is we're grateful for everything that's been given to our area in recovery, and what we ask is that everyone in America just give one more dollar towards finishing the job of recovery here in Mississippi.
Help us now by sending your contributions to the address on your screen or log on to our site at www.finishthejobfund.org. We cannot provide housing to these families without your help. Please allow us to finish the job.